Hello, I'm ToyCat and welcome back to some video. You might recall a few weeks ago I showed off one of the really cool TNT exclusives I found while testing for another video, and I even mentioned, oh yeah, I was working on something else. This is that video I was working on. I wanted to talk about TNT and its uses for PvP in Minecraft, because truth be told, TNT is perhaps the single coolest weapon you can use, and most people kind of overlook it. They use it once and they go, oh, people just run away from it, how awful that is. But today I want to talk about why TNT is one of the most amazing PvP tools, and some of the cool facts about it you might have not realized, and how you can use that to your advantage. So hopefully you do all enjoy today's video. If you do all like it, like the video and let me know, because it helps out the channel and lets know you do like these sorts of PvP videos. It's been a while since I've done one specifically aimed at people that fight each other and stuff, so if you like PvP, let me know with a like or a comment. But with that said, let's get straight into it, and let's start by talking about why TNT is the single best item in the game for when you're down for a little bit, because TNT is the only thing that can deal 50 damage. That's right, if I stood right here, I need to get out of it, it deals 50 damage up close if you're right at the epicenter of the blast, and that needs no potions, no enchantments, and really nothing else besides literally either just this in battle mode, or if you're playing another survival game modes, you need just some form of primer and TNT, and you can deal 50 damage to people. However, again, the reason most people decide, oh, TNT's not worth using, is because they arrived at one of two conclusions. One is that TNT is really weak, and truth be told, it has a really quick damage drop-off range. If I stand here, I'm just going to get some brief shockwaves and a tiny bit of damage for something that should be this giant mega explosion, and that's without any armor. If I had good armor on, it'd be like, oh, that was a tiny glance, that was weird. And even at, the really extreme distances, if I stand over here, I'm going to get the tiniest shockwave from this, and it's going to be like, oh, so that's a big deal. It moved me back like 0.01 blocks. Oh, I'm so scared. But the truth be told, that's one of the conclusions. The other one is that, what you can end up doing is being like, oh, so I launched my TNT, I set off my 50 damage, but then people see it and they just run away. How do I prevent that? Well, there's no point dealing 50 damage if no one's there. However, I think TNT it's a pretty good weapon, but it has to be understood as being a really niche one. You can't just expect to drop TNT on the ground, deal 50 damage, and similarly, you can't just, think that TNT is weak, because they're kind of the same problem, which is getting people to be near your TNT, which is mostly what I wanted to address with today's video. One, understanding where people are near your TNT and when you can kill them, and two, understanding some really cool ways to do that. So let's start by talking about the range of TNT. So I mentioned it does 50 damage at its core, but it very quickly drops off. However, 50 damage is still 2.5 times as much as you need to kill someone. So that means that if you launched in the very center of this a TNT block, anywhere on this obsidian, if you stand in the full block, you'll die. So I've just proved that. I'll stand in the corner here where it's not quite inside it. As you can see, half my health bar is gone. If I stood all the way in any of these blocks, this is a one-hit kill. So assuming you're fighting someone with no armor or no enchanted armor, that means that all you have to do is get someone within this close of TNT, or simply put, if you prefer elsewise, it's about 5 blocks in a circular distance, or 5.5 blocks in a circular distance around the TNT. So yeah, TNT has a 5.5 block one-hit kill range. It's about a 7 block, like any amount of damage range, but 7 blocks is like, oh, it did half damage to me, I'm so terrified. So like here, for instance, okay, that was awful, but you get the point. It does damage past that, but it drops off really quickly to the point where it has the tiny shockwave or even nothing. So yeah, how do you get people within the 5.5 blocks? So I've shown up before in any of the battle mode videos. You should check them out if you want to see this, because it's one of my favorite things to do, to try and just launch down the TNT and use it as like a force on towards it. Because if you run and you detonate TNT in front of you, then run behind it, all you have to do is knock someone back even once, and the TNT is guaranteed to explode on them, because TNT only has a 5-second timer. From the very moment you hit this thing, there's 5 seconds and then it's going to explode, and 5 seconds is long enough for anyone to run away. Look how far I've gone that time. But if people aren't realizing they're meant to run away, or if they're so focused on killing you that they're not going to, then what you can do instead is you can, of course, you can detonate the TNT. Some of those seconds are wasted while you run away from it, and then try and knock someone back into it. And they're just in the epicenter of the TNT. They forget it's so powerful, because most people don't die that way, and you can get some really amazing kills on people you really shouldn't be able to. Again, for that technique, you need nothing but TNT and flint and steel, because all you need to do is for knock them back once, sometimes twice, and just to absorb that damage. Again, literally just a fist, you just run into them, you knock them back, and they're already dead. In fact, wait, let's prove this with like a FYI, there's only one way. But you can prove this with so many different things. I've shown it in so many different of my battle mode gameplays. It's a really, really cool little thing that a lot of people don't consider doing. So knock people into your TNT, pretty useful. But assuming you know that already, you're like, okay, ToyCat, get people inside the TNT. That's not really useful enough for me though. How else can I use this? So there's a second way to guarantee someone will be hit by TNT, and this one's a bit more sneaky. It works, I guess, more for redstone people, but it can also work if you've got a very vertical map. Again, a little bit less for battle mode, but let's say you're very high in the sky above someone and you want to detonate TNT on top of them. However, the big problem with this is if you go, let's say, you know, like, let's say 50 blocks from the sky. I think this is what this is. If I try to launch this down on someone, then what's going to happen is, even though I knock off 2 seconds of the timer, they still have about 2 seconds to run away from it, and they're probably not going to die guaranteed. So what you want to do is, again, this is really precise, but it's a really cool thing if you can pull it off. If you go exactly 75 blocks above someone, or at least go very close to 75 blocks, like let's say 74, 70, just a maximum of 75 blocks above someone, basically what can happen is that entire 5 seconds of the timer can be spent in the air. So let's just kind of prove this by firing. Okay, this is going to be tricky. Let's fire the ender pearl, so we'll land there just in time, and then let's detonate the TNT just on top of our head. So just like this, we're standing down here, we're having a really fun time, and then, before anything happens, that hit us right on the head. Nothing we could have done about it. Like, even if you can see these things coming, so... Fun fact, by the way, TNT actually falls slower than human players. So if we fall right now, you can see just like that. But if we fall and we just land like this, as you can see, it lands, and there's no chance for any, you know, even thought process of, oh, there's TNT. It's just, oh, you're already dead. So yeah, 75 blocks is the max you can be above someone, and that's how you make an instant detonating piece of TNT. And if you get really smart about it with TNT cans and stuff, you can even launch the TNT in a particular direction. So yeah, are you above someone and they're taunting you, and you're like, oh, what do I do about this? If you just drop TNT on them and they're not looking up, I mean, if they are, then obviously some of your advantage is lost. But if as long as, I wonder why this is suddenly not detonating, but if you can just do that correctly, then just like this, you can see it. Let me show you from here. Just instant explosion when it hits the ground, and that's that. Again, please, well, not please, but, you know, make sure you refrain from doing any higher than that, because if you do like 77 blocks, let's say, let's just go up a few different blocks. If you go this many blocks, then when it hits the ground, so let's actually go over here a little bit. When it hits the ground, it's not going to deal as much damage because it will explode very slightly in midair. So just to show you that one, as you can see, it explodes just before it hits the ground, and instead of doing this to the ground, it does that. So yeah, make sure you go for 75 blocks from underneath, and if you do that, you can guarantee it will drop just on someone's head and kill them. So yeah, they're the major tips I want to kind of leave you with here. First of all, there's 5.5 blocks. All you have to do is get someone into any of the, you know, any of this area, and bear in mind if it's a corner, then there's no way out besides running into it. Second of all, keep in mind that, you know, if you just knock someone back, you can waste seconds of the timer before they're even thinking about it, and you don't even need a weapon. You just need to knock with a sprint knock, and they'll go straight into the TNT. Third of all, if you can drop it on their head, for some reason that one's not lighting, but if you can drop it on their head, there's no way for them to know it's coming unless they look up, which most people aren't doing all the time, which makes it like an anvil, but an explosive anvil in terms of just one-hit kill anyway. And yeah, that's basically how I would recommend using TNT to do a really good job. Again, this does 50 damage up close, and even, so let me just kind of show the extent of this. I'm just over here, I think, oh yeah, I'm so safe. Look at all that distance between me and it, and just like, oh, actually, just managed to not kill me there, because I guess it went backwards, but still, you can actually, you can understand just how ridiculously powerful this can be, and that's before you even try to knock people into it. So yeah, I think this is best used in really specific situations. Again, if you're running away from someone, it can save your life, or at the very, in either way, like either you kill them, or they get scared of TNT and just back away. If you're above someone, you can use it to drop instant bombs on people's heads, and if people are running away from you, and they back themselves into like a corner where they've got an advantage, let's say there was someone inside this panda foot, we could be like, well, what are you going to do about that now? And no matter where they go in there, they're going to be within the 5 blocks, so just like that, they turn into a pile of dirt. I mean, they turn into a dead person. But you get the point. I hope you did all enjoy today's video. I hope you learned something new about TNT and PvP and stuff. If you did all enjoy the video, like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets know you do like these sorts of videos. Again, it's a PvP one that I haven't done in quite some time. I'm considering doing a few more of these, so let me know if you want more of that. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Side note, I do know I twitch a lot when I make these videos. It's something I've been very slowly trying to fix, because it's like, must twitch. But if you have noticed that, then don't worry, it's a work in progress. Oh yeah, and since it's pretty relevant to, you know, the reason that I made that first video that I referenced here, basically the cool exclusive to do with console that a lot of people won't expect if they're not console players is the fact that when you light TNT in water, on the PC it still does harm you, on the console it does not, which means if you want to like jump in the TNT, it's fine. So yeah, on the PC it still doesn't break blocks, but it still harms you. On the console, that's not true. So if you want to use this to your advantage, you can do that. And if you want to do really cool stuff where you can play around people knowing that, if you put sand on top of the TNT and then explode it, the TNT explodes in the water officially, and then it can destroy even underwater blocks, which is handy for like monuments and stuff. Anyway, I hope you did all enjoy this video, because I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day. I'm going to go and eat a pizza or something now. So, goodbye.